quite excited to see what he goes this afternoon. I think Town should just have enough, but I've been wrong before.
Let's see what happens, shall we? So our referee for this game is Mr. Aaron Belafonte. We're just ready for the kick-off. It's going to be Jake Carter to get us underway, and away we go. It's a deep kick-off. Oh, and initially it's taken in by Finley Rogers. He then fed it back, and there's a speedman that's running across field, but straight away he's been controlled by Rio Corkill, and the numbers have been added to that particular stop, which has just slowed Swinton down just behind their own 20-metre line. So Baker plays it across to Finley Rogers, and Rogers puts it further wide, but at the moment not much progress being made by Swinton in this first set. They might make a few more metres now in the form of Adam Sidlow, who's been in some supreme form early doors, and they will make a few more metres because it's a high tackle penalty that's gone against the side.
Yeah, it's something that Whitehaven found out to their detriment last week, and I do promise any Town fans listening, I'm not just going to mention Whitehaven at every notice, but it's something Whitehaven found out to their detriment last week, and it's something Anthony Murray sort of remarked on about the penalties and the penalties they give away. They said they ended up giving 12 away last week. You've got to, at any sort of level, but I think particularly at this level where defences might not quite be on top, you've got to try and limit the amount of yardage your opposition's going to have.
Yeah, you need to be squeaky clean, really, don't you? As Swinton worked their way to the halfway line. It was a weaving run from Lewis Roberts. Now, Abram, right, that challenge, just about makes it over the halfway line. Stevie Scola hit him with everything he had then, to be fair. Still on the halfway line. The run comes in from Tommy Porter. He's a player that has played National Conference League and also in the reserve competition for Lee Leopards in the past. Now it's Baker, clever player, offloads, but that pass is a little bit off kilter, and as a result it goes forward. A bit too clever in these early stages of field. We're a minute and a half in, 0-0 is the score, and it's going to be a scrum to Workington Town. About 30 metres from their own line?
You don't need to do that in the opening 90 seconds, do you,
no.
Dev? You just don't. It's
a bit too fancy.
Yeah, you've got the momentum. I'm using that momentum word already. You've got the momentum. You've got the penalty in the first set. You find yourself in Town's territory with a number of tackles still left to go, and you go for the outlandish play, and Town are going to try and take advantage of you.
Town come down the left hand side with Corkill. He'll play it on his own 40 metre line to Phillips, who dummies left, comes to he dummies to the right and comes to the left, I should say. Zarin Galea runs over the halfway line. I will get my lefts and rights put right. Galea just over that halfway line. Here's Phillips, heads for the middle, links it back with Scully. Scully angles himself back towards this 10 metre mark, just away from the touchline. Phillips drops back over his shoulder for Stevenson. Stevenson was in a brilliant form last week for mine. Was certainly the pick of the Town pack as he plays it 25 metres out from the line, 35 metres out from the line. Big run comes in from Ross Ainley. Good surge from the former Kells man. Now it's going to be on the left hand side with Carter. Oh, that's an intelligent kick into the backfield. It'll bounce up. It'll be taken by Town. Can they get the ball away? It doesn't need to be taken away because Bradley has thrust his way through and scored. Well, you're delaying this game and it's crucial.
Absolutely. The Swinton fullback Louis Roberts just needed to try and get to that ball on the full. It was allowed to bounce. It's the old rugby league phrase, you never allow a rugby league ball to bounce, Dave Parkinson, and that's what Swinton did on that occasion. Fantastic chase from Jake Bradley, and I think it was the winger on this side as well, in and around there. But just putting the pressure on Roberts, he bounced beautifully right back into the hands of Jake Bradley, but he still had work to do. There was Swinton defenders and the fullback and the winger there, and had to show his upper body strength to twist out the tackle and put the ball down. Fantastic opening score in the early stages for Town after obviously giving away that initial penalty.
3 minutes gone, opening score. It's out on the left hand side. It's going to be a difficult conversion for Carter, but what a start for Town. It was a lovely kick. As soon as Carter put it in, it had that bit of culture about it, and crucially it bounced awkwardly in front of Lewis Roberts. He allowed it to bounce as well, and as a result they were in all kinds of pain.
That's what you come to expect to see from Jake Carter. He's always struggled whenever he's been to get a run of games in the side, especially at Barrow, and then he was in and out of the team at times at Whitehaven, sometimes coming on, off the bench, and maybe Jamie Doran would then go to 9 after Doran and Hannigan was starting. He's come to this Town side and he's really starting. He's Jonty Gawley's halfback. Jonty Gawley set that out early doors. He's the halfback, and I think that's becoming more and more positive for Jake, and he's getting more and more positive in his game.
Yeah, he's really making his mark. Can he make his mark with the goal kick? Oh, I tell you what, that's a super goal, that is. The flags are raised. It's 6-0 in favour of Workington Town. Just over 4 minutes gone, but what a start for Town.
exactly what Jonty Gawley would have wanted, and especially following that response, as I mentioned, from the initial penalty, and we're being able to sort of force Swinton into that area with them, the feeling the need to go for that pass from the first set, that intelligent little chip, as you mentioned, Dave, just over the top. Bradley full force going into it. And fantastic start for Jonty Gawley's Workington.
Rogers gets us underway from a Swinton point of view again. It's a hanging kick, well taken in by Carter. Carter then launches the attack, makes a couple of metres initially, and then yields to the challenge of 3 Swinton defenders. Swinton playing in a natty orange number. Orange seems to be in this season, doesn't it?
It reminds you of the Dutch, doesn't it?
It does,
that sort of orange.
It is. I quite like it, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not for my side, but yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's
that's a great run from Bradley down this left-hand side. He has been in some top form. I've said elsewhere, to be honest, as I think that's going to be a real knock-on against him. I've said that this back row of Towns is amongst the top back rows in the championship, in this championship.
Yeah, I was quite quick to talk about the back row of Swinton, wasn't I, just before the game? But that back row of Jake Bradley, Jack Stevenson, obviously Cooper Howlett in there this afternoon, but normally Kane Barnes, he's really up there, isn't it? And you mentioned Jack Stevenson in the early stages when he put that first run in of the afternoon for himself, and you mentioned what a run of form he'd been on. I give him my League Express of the match, man of the match last week for Workington. He'd got through a hell of a lot of work.
I'm glad we agreed on it.
Yeah, well, there we go then. It's nice to see we agree on something.
It's nice to see, isn't it?
So yeah, we obviously, he took a lot of ball in, ran hard, and I haven't seen him have a bad game yet for Workington, so he'll be looking to continue that form and for the remainder of the season.
So 40 metres out from the Workington line, Swinton have possession, switched out to the left-hand side. That's Cian Morgan, a man on debut. They signed him from Oldham in the close season, and he was serving quite a lengthy ban, so he's first game back in the side today.
It's what you want when you're signing a player in November, knowing he can't play till end of April.
Wow,
isn't it? Fantastic.
Yeah. Across it comes with Rogers to this right side. He links with Abram. Abram keeps it moving. It's all the way out now to Aaron Lynch. Once upon a time off Hurst Finch, and he's dropped the ball. It was a super tackle which came in from Corkhill.
He just had to hold back. That pass from Abram was just slightly delayed, and he had to swing back for it, so he never really had that full control going up into contact. And a couple of them there, Rio Corkhill I think took a ban in there. Looks like he should be okay to continue, but that pressure was enough. Obviously that little change where you've had to reset yourself and get that's been enough to not have the ball in your hands and lost the ball once upon contact.
Yeah, that half second can make a heck of a lot of difference, can't it? And
for the game that's played over 80 minutes, it's amazing how many half seconds or milliseconds, and I think we're seeing that in Super League on Friday night with Leeds and Hull KR in terms of the particular sending offs that were there. And it's just that if you get there half a second earlier, and I think it was at Arthur Morg against Ash Hanley, Morg just went down at the last second. Hanley wasn't able to reset himself. I mean, I don't think it was a red card. That's just my opinion. But Rio Corkhill isn't going to be okay to continue.
He's coming to the sideline. It's going to be HIA.
But just going back to that, obviously in terms of, like I said, that half a second in a game for 80 minutes, it's amazing how often you see a half a second or a second making a massive difference. And it's one of them. It was one of them occasions there.
Be interesting to see how they realign themselves here. It looks like Bradley's gone out to the centre. He was a backer once upon a time, wasn't he, Jake Bradley?
He made his debut for Whitehaven on the wing, but he was only 16 at that point. Probably why they put him on the wing. It was the youngest ever player for Whitehaven and the youngest ever try scorer against Hemel. So, I don't imagine we're going to see him on the wing, but he seems to have settled himself there in the centre.
I think he gets to play this about 30 metres from his own line. Phillips gets himself all wrapped up, and as a result, he's well tackled by Gav Rodden. It comes to this right-hand side through Weir, and that's a solid surge from Cooper Howlett. Makes 7 or 8 metres, and a couple of those after contact as well. Plays it to Phillips. Phillips passes through up for the middle. It's a big collision, however. Town didn't make that many metres on this occasion through Ainley. They'll make a few more through Scully. He'll try and make the halfway line, manages to do so at the second time of asking, spinning his way through the tackle. Quick play the ball too. It's on the left hand side with Carter, who launches the boot at it. It's a high hanging kick, and this time going to be poached by Swinton, who launched the counter attack, and lucky not to get a high tackle against them then, in my opinion.
Very lucky. Yeah, but a good attacking set once again from Town, obviously following the momentum being lost, obviously following the stoppage to obviously Rio Corkhill having to leave the field. He's going from a standing start, so done well to make 30 plus metres there and attempt to turn Swinton round. So
it's Frank Sargent who's in possession, man who's played a little bit at St Helens in the reserve setup. Comes towards the middle. This is Reddycliffe. He's another one of those who I can say I remember his dad playing. His dad was an excellent centre for Lee Miners Rangers back in the day.
Is there anyone you don't know?
There's links all around,
There
really
is, mate. It's one of them sports rugby league, isn't it?
Adam Sidlow gets over the halfway line. Tommy Porter at dummy half. He'll ship the ball right to Abram. Abram puts the step on, goes back towards the left, goes to the centre with Baker. Baker's got nowhere to run. He doesn't seem to know what he wants to do, and eventually he's rattled to the deck by Graham.
There was a 6 again in there as well, so they've got a fresh set of 6 of the Lions.
That's probably why he looked like he didn't know what to do, because he could just take the tackle as Porter drives his way forward, gains about 10 metres on the surge. Roberts passes to the left, kick comes in. That's an intriguing one from Rogers into the backfield. Oh, the bounce has gone the way of Swinton Lions, and Kian Morgan is tackled 5 metres out from the line.
I don't think they felt it. They maybe know that the centre there knew it was a 6 again.
Oh, a real chance there for Kenny Baker, just forced back within the field of play. Good tackle on him by Phillips in particular. It'll come across to this right side. Rogers unleashes a long pass. It bounces up awkwardly. Taken in by Swinton, who keep it moving. The kick comes in, but that's probably not the touch that Aaron Lynch wanted. You know what, I was trying to build him up before, saying that he'd come from a Hurst Finch side who they went unbeaten all of last season in the North West Men's League Premier Division.
In counties, yeah.
But he's had a couple of early touches and it seems to be nervy a little bit. But 11 minutes gone, 6 points to nil in favour of Workington Town, and Town back in possession and driving through the middle, 15 metres out from their own line. Phillips moves into dummy half now. He'll dummy to the right, come to the left. Big run coming in from Eccleston, and he just makes it just over the 20 metre line. They pack this middle though of Swinton, and once again they'll try and go over the top through Atiga. A good run from him. He was in inspired form last week, by the way.
Yeah, he's done really, really well at Atiga, and a couple of games I'd seen him in early doors, I thought I'd seen him struggle, but he seems to have got better and better.
Galea dropping it back to Eccleston, who had to nip him from his wing position. Tackle 5 metres in from the touchline, about 10 metres away from halfway. Carter releases it to Bradley. Bradley, ball goes loose. It's play on though. Here's Cooper Howlett, pushes through one, tries to get through another 2 tacklers, and he's made some good ground, but they've run out of tackles here. Last one, 40 metres away from the line. The kick comes in. It's attempted to be charged down, but I think Bradley was just a touch offside.
I don't think he was. I think he's unlucky there. He's Jake Bradley, and he'll be missing next week, obviously following picking up them penalty points for that head clash with Jake Pearson. I've spoke to people about it and seem to think, well, he stood up in such things like that. I felt he was harsh with Jake, that he's got the penalty points, and that alone wouldn't have got him the ban, but I think he picked one up in the Rochdale game as well some point. So he's going to be missing Newcastle next week, which, let's be honest, it's not the worst game in the world to miss for Jonty Gawley's side.
No, it isn't, to be fair. So Swinton with another penalty, their second penalty of the game. They've booted the ball about 10 metres further downfield, but they'll start this attack 30 metres out from the try line. Whizzed across to the left hand side with Rogers. He keeps it moving. Now it's out with the centre, Kian Morgan. Seeing quite a bit of ball early doors is Morgan. Tackle 10 metres in from the touchline.
That was a knock
ball
on.
Comes to Rogers. Rogers keeps it moving onto Reddycliffe. Reddycliffe, half burst. Good yards from him. Gets up to the 20 metre line. Fortune favours Swinton at the moment, and they come down the right hand side with Abram, who wrong steps the Town defence, then pots the ball in the middle once again. Baker is stepping around, seemed a little bit unsure what to do with it. You think he just took it under his wing and run, to be fair.
Yeah.
Comes to the left. A little kick comes in. It's a decent one. Atiga gets rid of it though, kicks it dead. It's going to be a dropout from under the post. Gav Rodden, he's always one. He's like your thinking man's second rower. He's scored 5 tries this season in all competitions for Swinton, but he's always one of those guys that always seems to be a little bit ahead of the play.
Yeah, I don't say this disparagingly, because I think League One can be a great competition, but I feel like he's too good for this level.
Definitely.
He's easily a championship standard back rower, and probably towards the upper ends of the championship there as well. But it's been quite loyal to Swinton in the last few seasons, and so he's one of them. Yeah, he's always seems to be that second head. He knows what's happening and wants to try and get forward.
Baker releases it. That was a bit of a doubt on that pass for Sidlow, but he carried on moving forward, and he'll play it to Porter. Porter to his left hand side. Baker, that's better from him. Rogers doing all the running, getting the ball out to the fullback Roberts is forced back to the 20 metre line. Great challenge which went in there, to be fair. That was superb defence from Town. Can they do likewise on Baker in the middle of the field? The answer is yes, they can. 20 metres away from the line, they play it quickly to Swinton. Sidlow out to Abram putting the step on again, wrong foot in the defence. Interception here, going down the ground. Town back in possession, and they've cleared their own 30-metre line. It's almost like he was waiting there, was Ainley, for somebody to tackle him, and Zaringalia pinches another 10 metres from dummy half.
Fantastic read from Ross Ainley, and he didn't have to do an awful lot, but once he seen the ball coming to him, and that split second, we mentioned them half a seconds and such things like that earlier on, he read it well, he hoped to get his hands into it and run away. He didn't want to go much further than Ross Ainley. He was looking for support, it wasn't round him, but fantastic work from the former Kells prop forward.
The set continues for Town, who are now 40 metres away from the try line. Guy Graham in possession, 3 men it takes to bring him down. It's the last one of this particular set. They're right in the middle of the field here are Workington. Ball on the left with Carter. He launches his left boot at it again. And this time it's pouched comfortably by Roberts, who starts the counter-attack for Swinton and just about clears his own 10, running directly into the centre of the field. Swinton still trailing by 6 points to 0. That early try coming after 3 minutes for Workington Town, as Sargent is rolled on his back just inside his own 20-metre line. He'll play it to Porter. Porter decides that he'll take a run, then offloads the ball to his left. But again, the defence is pretty solid from Town. They're restricting Swinton's metres here. That's got to be pleasing for the coach, John T. Gawley. Rogers. That pass had to be on point for Sidlow. There wasn't a lot he could do. It was like waiting. The defence was just waiting to spring the trap. And still just 30 metres away from their own line. It comes right to Abram. He gets boot on ball. It'll bounce right up to Zaringalia. And he's got a bit of open pasture in front of him. Makes it to the halfway line before anybody meets him. Great kick return. And he was another man that was in inspired form last week, wasn't he?
We mentioned should have had 2 tries last week, didn't he? And 2 potential try assists in them stages when he broke through and just didn't pick the right option on both occasions, which probably will have disappointed the Maltese international. But fantastic work from Town there, fantastic defence from Town, limiting the yardage from Swinton, and they'll be hoping to reap the rewards here.
Yeah, they're moving forward with great aplomb. 35 metres out from the try line. Carter in the middle. Links with Weir. Weir takes the defence on half break from him, but eventually just about dragged down there by Finlay Beardsworth. Straight away though, Town go at them again. Guy Graham put down in the middle of the field after linking with Ainley. It's all on. Another set of 6 coming up for Town. It's moved to this left hand side with Carter. Bradley takes a set low, but he offloads back to Carter, and Carter sets off for the middle. Looks round. Eventually it's the meat in the sandwich of a 2-man Swinton defensive read. 10 metres out from the try line here, Town. Picked up by Phillips. He then links it with Graham. Big tackle coming in from Rodden. Well, there was no chance of an offload there from Guy Graham. Still 2 metres out from the try line. Phillips to the right. Good work from Weir. Weir pops it over the top. Atiga for the corner. Can he stretch his way over? He's managed to get it down. There was some real heavy traffic there. There was 3 orange shirts there from Swinton Lions, and Levi Atiga manages to touch down his 2nd try of the season.
Fantastic work once again from Workington Hall, and obviously got that extra positivity, I should say, in that set. We've been able to get that 6 again call with the Swinton men lying down, and then able to take advantage, being able to reap the rewards of that defensive effort in the set before. And that's what will really please John T. Gawley, that it hasn't come through errors, it hasn't come through anything like that from Swinton. It's come from determination and hard work in defence, and then they've been able to get the reward for it in attack on the right hand edge.
Are we starting to see a beautiful League One partnership developing on that right edge? Because we have put Atiga in for his try last week. And he's done really well there once more as Weir, because he was surrounded by players, managed to put the ball high and pop it over the top basketball fashion.
Yeah, and he's got that in his locker as Dawn, seen him do it for many years up at Kells, obviously Community Lions as well, and yeah, so he's been able to get to do that, in NCL for many years now, since obviously Kells progression. That early progression right through from Div 3 right up, isn't it? It was a rapid progression when they made the step over to the NCL, and so he's done that for many years, and he's now decided to come up to the professional game. And the best thing you can say about him, Dave, is that he looks like he's been doing it for years.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah,
and he's another one of those players who's got family connections, because his dad was a bit of a legend down here, wasn't he, during the 90s, as the kick comes in from Carter. Sends it goalward. Has he got enough of it? No, he hasn't. It's waved away, but the scoreline is a healthy one, particularly if you're of a Town persuasion. It's 10-0 in favour of Workington Town. Hope you're enjoying the coverage so far this afternoon, being brought to you courtesy of BBC Radio Cumbria Sports, the BBC Sports app and the BBC Sports website. My name's Dave Parkinson, alongside Jordan Weir and Swinton with another restart here.
Yeah, another restart, and we've got Paul Wood to our right hand side. I can't hear an awful lot of what's being said from Paul Wood, so he's not too angry or too shouty yet. He's Paul Wood. He's not the previous coach at Swinton, Alan Kilshaw, where you could hear from the other side of the ground. Could you with Alan Kilshaw? But yeah, he'll be disappointed with what he's seeing out there, that his side haven't been able to stem the sort of the flow of Town in the early stages.
Oh, that was an interesting restart. Well taken by Cooper Howlett. He was like a slip fielder at cricket, the way that he came forward for that.
He won't have been expecting that.
No,
not at all.
It really did veer off the side of the boot. It's Bradley following up with a solid drive. Town over their own 40-metre line already. Just 2 tackles into the set. Phillips picks up. They'll attack down this blind side. Phillips offloads. Back to Bradley. I don't think he expected it too much, but I tell you what, from a standing start, he's made some good metres, and he's almost up to the 40-metre line inside the Swinton half. Town are on a roll at the moment. Here's Carter in the middle. He'll send it right, looking for Weir. Weir offloads for Galea. Galea puts it wide to Atiga. Atiga on the run. He's got away from 2. He's got away from 3. He passes the ball inside. It's been palmed down. Picked up again by Town. All on. Another set of 6, and they're just 10 metres out from the try line here, Workington Town. It's flowing forward for them. Can they get some points on the back of what is looking like a solid attack? Ainley goes for the post, rolled to the deck, 5 metres out, just to the right hand side of the post. It'll come to the left with a pass to Galea. Galea gets rid of it quickly to Bradley. Bradley again hustling, bustling, making his presence felt against the Swinton Lions defence. 5 metres out from the line. Phillips picks up, goes towards that middle. Oh, here's Guy Graham. Guy Graham ever so close to the line. He's just reached out. He's tried to go for a spectacular finish over his back, and he's knocked on the line.
Didn't need to do it, did Guy Graham? But I understand that you're that close to the line, white line fever. I can just stretch my arm out. We've seen it last week with Levi Atigu when he was penalised for the double movement in the later stages. That you see that line begging, you think, I can just get there, and just lost it as soon as he hit the ground there as he was trying to stretch his arm out. Not the worst place in the world to turn the ball over, and I'm not going to discredit Guy Graham for doing it, but he didn't need to do it.
This looks like a positive sign for Workington, because Rio Corkill is back out on the touchline, so it looks like he's potentially ready to return in the next couple of minutes. Oh, Swinton were trying to catch Town offside, holding the ball at the base of the scrum. I think that's what they were doing anyway.
Well, either that, it was very, very messy.
It did look messy, I have to admit, and Town now trying to attack through their defence. Swinton finding the going tough in these early stages. We are now 22 minutes in. And this time, Swinton try and run from a standing start. Regan Sumner all held. I think he was once upon a time with Widnes. Into the field it comes. Abram releases it to Baker. That's better from Baker. Still doesn't make that much ground, but he plays it fairly quickly. Now to the right it's moved. Roby is on there now. So 50th appearance of his Swinton career for George Roby as he passes to the right. Kick comes in from Abram. It's allowed to bounce as well by Galea. He'll come across for it, picks it up. He's got a free 10 metres to run into, and he makes a couple of metres beyond contact as well. Good kick return that from Zoran Galea. Yeah,
great kick return, like you said, had to allow it to bounce and bounce and bounce, and once he was able to collect it yet again right on the front foot, looking positive and trying to get as many yards forward as he can for his side.
Stevie Scully has come off the field. Corkill has gone back on, so Guy Graham will continue in the front row. So Phillips at dummy half, passes to Ainley to his left, then Carter continues this movement coming down the left, drops it back for Bradley. He found the going tough, 3-man tackle coming in from Swinton. Referee still hasn't called held, eventually he does. And Phillips goes to the left with Carter. Carter offloads back to Phillips, well controlled there. Ainley, it's some dynamic rugby from Workington Town. Guy Graham handing on to Don Weir, and Weir will run it to the post. That was brilliant attack. Absolutely superb. They come to ribbons then through the middle.
All stemmed from that offload for Jay Carter, which wasn't the best, was it? Callum Phillips had to do really well to get onto that, but following that it was like a hot potato. It went right, and it went right again, and then Guy Graham was able to use his feet to getting around the what was the lack of Swinton defence there. Only needed to sidestep one of the Swinton men, and that fantastic pass just to find Don Weir, who goes in underneath the sticks. Fantastic work from Town, and like that thing from Jay Carter I've mentioned about positivity. He's getting a run of games in the side, and I don't think I'd have seen that from Jay Carter in previous seasons. I don't think he'd have had the positive nature of wanting to get that arm three. But now he's getting a run of games in the side. He's getting more and more confidence. Yeah, he's showing confidence. He's building himself, and he's building himself into the halfback here at Workington Town in partnership with Don Weir, as we've already mentioned. Has had a fantastic start to his professional career. Starts with one halfback, ends with another.
I'm going to pinch your description there. Right, and he went right for Town. Third try of the afternoon, 24 minutes in, 14 points to nil with this kick to come from Carter directly in front of the posts. Don Weir's first try in professional colours as well, that one. Kick comes in from Carter, it's 16 points to nil. Town absolutely flying.
How long on the clock? 25, just into the 25th minute, and yeah, the Town will be over the moon. With that, we've mentioned they've been a much better side than Swinton, and Swinton haven't done an awful lot wrong, Dave. Town have just been on the front foot, both in defence and attack. They've been able to nullify the Swinton attack. The likes of Kenny Baker, who we haven't seen do an awful lot. They've been able to even nullify Gav Rodden, which not many sides do. So they've been able to just slow this Swinton side down to much of their advantage.
Much better restart coming in this time from Rogers. It's still a fairly short one.
It's a windy afternoon over there.
Yeah, it's always a track here, isn't it, where the wind is just so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Good run from Jake Bradley up to the 40-metre line. He'll stand and play it. Now Phillips linking with Corkill. Solid surge from him. Just over his own 40-metre line. Town working their way out of their own half. Stevenson on to Weir, who fortunately missed the challenge of Rodden, who tried to cut him down, but eventually he was put down by the halfback Binley Rogers. Ainley back to the halfway line. Referee says that tackle wasn't high, just tapped his shoulder. I'm not sure whether I agree with Mr. Belafonte there, but they play on and it goes to the right hand side, and kick comes in from Weir. It's a hanging one, forces Sargent all the way back inside his own 10 before he takes it, and Frank Sargent takes on the line, but he doesn't get past Cooper Howler or Callum Phillips.
But yet again, a fantastic set from Town. They've been able to work their way up the field in what following that first set, following points. And if you can't get points again, make sure you turn your opposition over deep. And Sargent done well to take it, but then he was still within 5-6 metres of his own try line.
This is really interesting because Swinton have burned up 3 of their substitutions now, 27 minutes into the game. I don't know whether I fully agree with that sort of thing. There's perhaps 1 or 2 too many there for my liking.
Maybe that man to our right hand side is getting paid to make them decisions. It feels
Definitely.
like it maybe feel like you need to try and change the impetus in this game and bringing some fresh bodies on from the bench, which obviously Town's only done once, and that was forced, obviously, wasn't it, with Guy Graham replacing Rio Corkill. So.
And certainly here, Swinton really struggling. Kick comes in from George Roby, kicks it into the backfield. Galea has to play it. Superb pickle from him. Oh, there's a gap in the middle. He's set off. It's the Galea Express. He's going all the way to the line. 50-metre score. That was superb. Darren Galea, what a way to break your duck for the season.
When it's not your day, Swinton Lions, it isn't your day. Just on any other given afternoon, that bounces right back into the hands of George Roby. And he probably does the same, Dave. It just bounced beautifully for Zadin Galea, and then he was like an express train, just zigging left and zigging right. Probably what he should have done a couple of last week ago in the West Cumbrian derby. On this occasion, he's made the right decision. He's put the ball down underneath the sticks, and the Maltese international is able to, as you mentioned, break his duck for the season underneath the sticks.
What a superb try. I love that pick-up, the reactions, but like you say, it's that fraction of a second,
that
isn't
half
it?
a second. We're talking about it a lot this afternoon, aren't we? We really are. But if that bounces, half a second earlier or later, I should say, it bounces into the hands of George Roby.
He's away.
He's away.
Yeah.
He's away. Unless Galea brings off a monstrous tackle, he's away as George Roby, and he's got that in his locker. He has got that spark. He's got that. But straight away, once Galea had broken through, he had his hand up in the air, apologising to his teammates. I don't think he's got an awful lot to apologise for. I know they've conceded points, but I think that's what Paul Wood was trying to do. He's trying to change the impetus of this game. Roby tried to do it after recently being introduced from the bench. He's been unlucky.
Not that we're complaining from a Town point of view, as Galea outstripped the defence, went fully 50 metres, and it gives Jake Carter the opportunity to make this game 22-0 in Town's favour, which he does from the left boot. 22-0, 29 minutes of the game gone. It's high, it's happy, it's a good atmosphere down here at Derwent Park.
Yeah, everybody's happy. Everyone's happy. Yeah, everyone is happy. You know, we've got Jonty Gawley will be really happy. The Workington coaching staff will be really happy. The Workington side will be really happy, and I'm sure this man in front of me as well, Graham Pearce, the chairman of Workington Town, will be happy as well. Half an hour in, 22 points to the good. Town couldn't have done an awful lot more, Dave.
No, definitely not. As Carter takes that restart, just tuck it in behind his own 30-metre line. Swinton will just be trying anything they can to try and slow this juggernaut down. Oh, and then away again through Bradley, who works his way over the halfway line. He was like a bull going through the defence then.
He just doesn't give up at all, does Jake Bradley. He's really grown. And another one that we've mentioned about Jake Carter struggling for game time in his previous clubs. Another one that struggled to break in and stay in, did Jake Bradley. Yeah, he was a fantastic squad player, but since making the short move obviously down here to Derwent Park, he's really grown in stature, confidence, and he's becoming the better player for it.
What a ball from Weir to Howlett. Oh, great tackle from Roberts. Roberts brings him down 12 metres out from the line. It's off on the right hand side though, out to Atiga. Atiga has nowhere to run, he's all wrapped up. It is going to be turnover possession, and to be fair, Swinton have done really well to contain Workington Town, because that was a money ball from Don Weir, wasn't it, to Howlett?
To Howlett, and then that back pass to Atiga, just behind Atiga. He had to get his arm out and had to go and had to just wait for it that half second once more, which has been mentioned an awful lot in this first half. But if he gets that into his breadbasket, potentially he's over on that right hand side.
So Swinton back in possession. Sargent 20 metres from his own line. They're not moving forward greatly at the moment. That is a better carry, however, from Bobby Shingler. Shingler just in behind his own 30-metre line, plays it. Roby to his right hand side to Abram. He has caused a couple of problems, and he offloads for Beardsworth, who's being marched towards the touchline. Rolled on his back about 2 metres out from touch. He'll play this to Roby. They're still inside their own half here, Swinton. Abram offloads it. Run comes in this time from Jordan Brown. Brown over the halfway line, good yards from him. Plays it quickly to Roby, who ships it out to Rogers. Rogers kicks it long, and he's kicked it way too long. It's cleared the far touch line, and this is one of those things. Obviously, they've got a couple of issues with the players playing in half-back role of Swinton. Otherwise, you wouldn't dip into the low market for a half-back. I always think it's a really difficult place for anybody to come in at, because these players have been together for a period of time, and as a halfback you've only got limited amount of time to try and get to know everybody, haven't you then?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone goes how your spine is so important in rugby league. Your 1, your 6, your 7 and 9s, and you can get some consistency within that. We've seen how much Whitehaven struggled last week when they lost Jordan Burns, and Brown moved to full-back at some point when Bickerdike left the field. When you can't get that settled spine, it can be really difficult, and Rogers just being dumped in at this last minute. It's been a struggle out there in the half of Swinton this afternoon.
32 and a half minutes gone on the right hand side. We are almost working his way through a challenge from Kenny Baker, but he'll play it about 25 metres out from the try line. Here's Doran. Oh, his first touch is a good one. Guy Graham goes on the run, loses possession, kicks it out. It was a little nudge forward, I think, from Guy Graham, and the referee, Mr. Belafonte, has spotted it. So it is going to be turnover possession, but it looks like Town are enjoying the way that they're attacking and the way they're playing today.
Why wouldn't they? After the opening half an hour that they've had, why wouldn't they? We mentioned the outlandish offload we've seen in the opening 90 seconds from Swinton, where they hadn't earned that opportunity to play that way yet. Town have earned that opportunity. They've found themselves on the front foot. We've got a stoppage in play as Mr. Belafonte has put his hands up in the air. It looks like potentially there might be a bit of a blood injury. I think he's for one of the Town players here, so for Jack Stevenson,
touchline.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of claret flowing from what seems to be his cheek there, does Jack Stevenson. But yeah, Town have been on the front foot. They've dominated. They've earned that opportunity to play on the front foot and get that arm free, get that ball away. And I think Guy Green was a little bit unlucky there. I think he was probably trying to get his arm free. There was quite a few that his arms on hands on his arm, and he just hasn't been able to get it free, looking for that offload. And on another afternoon, he'd have got his arm free, he'd have got the ball to the left hand side, and Town would have continued.
Galea was stripping the defence right back again, wasn't hasn't he, to be fair? So this is going to be a scrum in favour of Swinton. 20 metres from their own line, picked up by Roby at the base. He goes to Sargent, who runs an arcing run to the left. Tackled 20 metres in from the touchline. Fed down that left-hand side. And there is the debutant Keane Morgan. Morgan stands... Oh, it's Rodden, actually. Rodden stands up and plays it. Roby back over his shoulder, looking for the running of Brown. Brown does pretty well initially, but then gets overwhelmed by the Town defence. 3 of them in attendance there. Stopped on the 40-metre line inside his own half the field. Roby takes a run. He'll win a penalty for that challenge from Jamie Doran. Bit of a lazy lunge as well from Doran's point of view.
Just in a marker there, wasn't he, Jamie Doran, and just tried to slow George Roby down. Realised that Roby had got a bit on the front foot there and tried to slow him down, but the third penalty that Town have conceded, and amazingly, despite all the lack of possession, Swinton's only conceded the 1-6 again. They haven't conceded any penalties, and that, you know what, that might be an issue. The fact that while they find themselves 22 points down, they haven't been trying hard enough to slow this Town defence down.
Yeah, they've been very clean, haven't they, I suppose. But they'll learn. Lewis Roberts, 35 metres out from the line. They take a run down the left-hand side through Rodden. He stopped 25 metres out from the try line now. 5 metres in from touch. It comes towards the middle. Rogers, that was a bit of a scrappy offload, but it's well picked up by Shingler. He drives over the 30-metre line, does the former Warrington man. Then it's played to Jones. Jones offloads, but he goes to ground. It's going to be another turnover from Swinton Lions. No matter how hard they're trying, it's just not coming for them, is it? And
that was similar to Guy Graham's only a few minutes ago. There was hands in and around the ball there, and hands on the arm of Jones there, and he's just been able to get his, not able to get his arm free and get that pass he was looking for. And yeah, it just hasn't been their day so far out there Swinton afternoon, because anything they're trying, it's just not coming off for them at the moment.
So scrum to Town, 20 metres from their own line. Here's a Tiger off the back of it. He makes 5 metres. It's after a lightning quick play the ball. Doran passes to the right to Galea. He goes off on a foray forward. Good solid surge from him. Crosses that 30-metre line. Doran goes to Howlett. Howlett, good run. Makes a good 10-12 metres there. They're up near the halfway line once again at Workington. He comes to Stevenson, gets rid of it quickly. Here's Guy Graham! Streaming down the ground, passes for Carter. Carter tries to weave in and out of the defence, stopped on the 20-metre line. Still, this tackle count continues here for Town as Stevenson puts it left to Doran. Doran tries to put the step on, brushes away from one defender. Frank Sargent just jumps on his back. It's unconventional, but it stops the Workington Town man, and it comes to the left-hand side with Carter. Carter drops it on the boots. And then Roberts does very well just to shuffle the ball dead. It's going to be a drop out from under the post. Another great attack from Workington.
Had options left and right, and yet again I'm not going to discredit Jake Carter for what was fantastic work initially there, obviously from Guy Graham there as well, but like I say, had options left and right, elected to keep hold of it himself, but that all stemmed from that George Roby. He might have to say sorry on that one, because he jumped out of the line, he'd left that gap, and Town were able to take full advantage. And he's trying to win it. He's trying to get his side back into it out there on his own, and he's got that in his game at times as George Roby when he feels his side up against it. Great work from Town, and unlucky not to get another 4-pointer.
The dropout only goes 30 metres. Carter took it on the full, tried to find Guy Graham, and Graham put the ball down. So for all the good stuff that they've been doing, there's still this little bit of I suppose niggly scrappy play that Workington Town have,
which Johnny Gawley will want them to obviously tighten up, and he's mentioned in our previous interviews, whether it's been with yourself post-match or with myself obviously through the week, and he's mentioned about his side and his completion rate. And when you spoke to him, and I spoke to him obviously an awful lot at Whitehaven, and he always mentioned his KPIs, his penalties, his errors, and turnovers and such things like that. And he's a big believer in that. He's John. He has most rugby league coaches out, of course, obviously, and that's something he'll definitely want to tighten up as Town get deeper and deeper into this League One campaign.
So the defence in these initial stages of the set have been pretty solid. That pass looked a little suspect, more than a little suspect, from Abram to his right hand side. Badesworth set off on a run to go over the halfway line.
That started in work and finished in Whitehaven.
They're unlucky not to get a call there. But Roby splitting the line. Good run from him. Works his way to the 20-metre line before being brought down by Guy Graham. In at dummy half is Harry Hyam. Hyam releases it to Abram. Abram sends it left. Rogers back over his shoulder looking for Roberts. Roberts is tackled 15 metres out from the line. Over on the left hand side, it's the last tackle. It looks a little bit disorganised, but here comes Abram kicking it forward. Zaringalia has dropped on it, but he's just nudged it forward as well. Ended up being a really good kick that from Abram.
It did, just a little, not a banana kick because he hasn't got it up in the air, but he's just gone the opposite way, and he's gone where different from the way he was running. He was able to just to get his foot across it, and yeah, it's obviously meant Galea had to try and reset himself, and he wasn't able to do it fast enough. Was the Maltese fullback, and Swinton have got a first real opportunity from the walk, and I remember Dave to have a full set knocking on Town's door here.
It's been a while since they've been down in this area of the field, that's for sure. As Roby picks up from the base, sends it right to Abram. Abram plays it at the front man, who's Harry Hyam, and Hyam is going to be held up, pushed back within the field of play. There's some football markings on the pitch which are confusing me a little bit as the play of the ball comes in. Roby sends it to Abram. Abram releases it to Rogers. Rogers across to Roberts. Roberts keeps it moving. Oh, here's Morgan. Gets away from two. He's got it to the line, has he? No, he stops. He's in the field of play. It's them football markings again that are deceiving my eyes. Play of the ball comes in. Diving for the line goes Sargent. Sargent, has he got it down?
Oh,
he has got it down.
Oh, I thought he'd lost it.
He's got it down in the eyes of the referee. So Swinton Lions, they're on the board. Frank Sargent somehow forcing his way through. There were 4 players on the line. It looked scrappy. It didn't look particularly nice as far as tries go.
There must have been a fingernail on the hand on the ball there somewhere, Dave. I think Town have been really hard done to there, and with the way the camera sits here at Derwent Park, you probably won't see the best angle of it. Maybe back on the video footage later on, early next week when you're able to review that. But yeah, it's wasn't the best of tries, and it isn't the most fast-flowing rugby league you'll ever see. But Swinton have been able to reduce the deficit before the half-time break, just to put maybe changes. Paul Wood's half-time team talk a little bit, because like I say, they've been able to get themselves on the board, but they've been thoroughly outgunned in this opening 40 minutes.
And it's Dan Abram with this conversion attempt over on the far side of the field, just in front of the popular side.
It's a lot quieter on that side this week.
It does look a little bit quieter.
It's a lot quieter, isn't it?
Kick comes in from Abram. It's a good kick as well. The flags are raised. I don't think there was ever a doubt, to be honest.
He loves his ground, does Dan Abram. He loves it.
Go on, tell us more.
Well, 2018, League One, Good Friday, initially up at Whitehaven.
Right.
Whitehaven score late on, right-hand side corner. Dan Abram nails one from the touchline, 25 metres to win the derby. Come back through here in July. Similar game, Whitehaven bring Danny Green off the bench, another Haresfinch guy. Off the bench, 15 minutes to go. Kick goes towards the corner. Green's in open space, puts it down in the right-hand side corner. Does the exact same as Dan Abram. 2 derby games, won by 2 points, thanks to the boot of Dan Abram.
Wow, I'm surprised he can still come here without having to have his passport stamped.
We're not that bad up here,
Yes, listen, I know that.
Oh, yeah.
I know that. Kick comes in from Carter. The restart. It's a high-hanging one. Oh, and then it's spilled, an awkward one, taken in by the try-scorer Sargent. The hooter goes in the background, brings an end to proceedings in this first half. 22 points to 6. It's a commanding half-time advantage for Workington.
And more than thoroughly deserved, Dave. With the way Town have been playing in the early stages, obviously got open in what was their first set of the game for themselves, and they've been able to just take full advantage since that. And as I've remarked, I think they're a little bit harsh that Finlay Sargent's been given that try on the left-hand side edge. It looked very, very scrappy, but I'll always say the referee's a lot closer than we are, so obviously he's got a much better view than we have from the back of the grandstand here at Derwent Park. But it looks scrappy, and I think Town have been a little bit hard done by there. But then 4 tries they've got, fantastic work, and most of them in blue and white this afternoon will be smiling very hard as they enter back into the changing rooms.
So away we go for the second half. And it's going to be Town with first use of possession. So they're 10 metres away from their own line here, Workington. Ball passed for a drive forward, just over that 20-metre line. Lucas Castle it is, underneath that mass of bodies. To the middle it comes to Stevenson. Stevenson held by 3 defenders. I wonder what the messages will have been. Certainly there's a bit more oomph in the line speed of Swinton in these early stages. As Howler all wrapped up by 2. Behind his own 30-metre line. He'll stand and play it to Doran. Doran takes 2 steps. Hands on to Guy Graham. He's having a right field day out there this afternoon, he's Graham. Marches 10 metres down the ground. Last tackle signalled. Ball to this right-hand side to Weir, who gets his kick away. It's straight down the ground. Bounces up in favour of Roberts. Roberts will start the counter-attack. He'll roll across to the right side. All controlled there. And it's a good tackle by Bradley.
For the people to run at, why did you run at Jake Bradley?
You just wouldn't pick him out.
You wouldn't pick him out, would you? No. But actually, good defensive set there from the Lions, able to sort of shorten Town's go forward, and obviously having to kick well short of halfway. So yeah, that's something Paul Wood will be happier with, and hopes that's a trend that continues in the second half.
So here come Swinton, through the middle they go, up to the 40-metre line. Quick play the ball from Jones. Now it's passed to the right hand side. Bageworth on the charge. He's caught 25 metres away from the line. Last tackle signalled here by referee Belafonte. Roby drops it on the toe, runs after it. It's an intelligent kick, but a great pick up again from Galea, who starts the counter attack, dances past 2 players, and he's put down eventually on the 20-metre line. Doran to his right hand side. Howler hurls himself at the line. It's a big Atiga eventually controlled and grounded. He looked like a second row the way that he ran onto that, and then Fulton puts the ball down. Disappointing end to that particular set as far as Workington are concerned, and I can already see John Tigoli's face looking in frustration at that one as they come up with the error, but they're having to defend it, and the Swinton Lions back in possession in these early stages of the second half. 2 minutes gone. Run comes in from Baker, only gains 5 metres. There's a brave challenge low down by Graham, who seems to be hobbling a little bit after that one. Rogers to his left hand side to Rodden. Rodden tries to get over the top of 2 defenders. He's inside the 20-metre line. He plays it to Roby, who in turn finds Rogers, who brings it across to the right hand side. Abram plays it out to Roberts, the full-back. Back to Abram. Abram nowhere to pass to. Still looks for somebody to pass to. Eventually finds somebody, and it's a good run through the middle. Big carry. Good run, Jordan Brown. He'll play this ball right in front of the post, and it'll be moved left. Short ball for Shingler. Forward pass is called. Disappointing end to that set, but I don't blame him for coming up with that pass selection, to be honest, because I had the feeling it were on. They were trying to move the town middle around, weren't they? They
were trying to exploit that gap, trying to make that defence a little bit more tired in the opening stages of the second half here. But just before that, the set before that from Swinton, I didn't expect there to be a battle between George Roby and Zarin Galea this afternoon, but it's a kick and catch competition, isn't it? And Galea come out on top again on that occasion, and it was really unfortunate not to find any sort of gap there.
Oh, here's a big run coming in from Rio Corkill off the back of the scrum. 15 metres chalked off as quick as he liked from the centre. He'll eventually find his feet. Ball played across to the left hand side. That's got to be the shortest 10 that I've seen in about 5 years here at Workington then. Referee, he marched forward about 2 or 3 metres, and the Swinton Lions defence just went with him. But fair enough, you can get away with it, you get away with it.
If you're in line with the referee, you can't be offside.
Exactly. So Town still in possession. Doran passes for Castle. Castle bursting his way over the halfway line. Pops the ball out. Well taken by Galea. Starts another run. Leaves a couple of defenders in his wake. 40 metres away from the try line. Infield it's moved to Carter. Carter back over his shoulders to Farrer. Solid hit up from Callum Farrer. He'll find his front as well. Doran to the left. Carter. Low kick. Does that come off? Swinton boot. It's spilled by Swinton, picked up. Howler moves it to Fulton. Big collision on him, and a knock on is called. Tell you what, that was an all or nothing sort of play then, wasn't it? I think it came in from Keir Morgan ducking in to put a hit there, and the scrum will go in favour of the Swinton Lions. I don't disagree with that, to be fair. There was a knock on.
There was a knock on, but I thought there potentially might have been a knock on from beforehand when they'd been trying to put the down through, and you say there's obviously no advantage or anything like that, but I think Town have been a bit outdone by there, but Swinton will be quite happy to take the benefits of it, Dave.
5 minutes into the second half, still 22 points to 6 in favour of the hosts. Swinton back in possession though. Roby took a quick dart from the base of the scrum. Always a busy player, is Roby.
Yeah, we had him a couple of games up at Whitehaven when he was at Huddersfield, and yeah, I mean it wasn't the best sort of side to come into because it was a really injury-plagued Whitehaven side at the time. But yeah, you could see he's really busy in and around that dummy half position in there at 9, and yeah, he likes to keep himself going and keep himself busy. Does Roby?
Once again, Swinton struggling for metres, but they'll make a few more through Kenny Baker, just getting over the halfway line directly in the centre of the ground. Roby picks up out of dummy half, runs it off to the left. There's not many people to pass through down here, and eventually the ball works its way to Rodden. He then passes back, looking for Roberts. Roberts just over the halfway line. Lightning quick play the ball. Roby, no one to pass to, kicks it forward himself. It's a high hanging one. Galea has to retreat for it. The ball beats him but goes dead, so it's going to be a tap on the 20-metre line and a 7 tackle set.
He's lucky there, isn't he?
He is lucky.
Zarin Galea, he just lost that one, that kick and catch competition between Roby and Galea. And yeah, Roby looked up there from dummy half saying there was absolutely nothing on. Swinton was still trying to get themselves organised following the quick play of the ball and elected just to kick it himself. He wasn't the best kick in the world, maybe only 2-3 metres deeper than where he wanted it to be, but it was deep enough for it to bounce dead once it did.
Atiga has somehow still got the better of that particular outcome. There was 4 players in at one point, then the last man just held on because he was trying to delay that play of the ball.
Town's first penalty of the afternoon, Dave. We're 47 minutes in, and Town's first penalty of the afternoon. I remarked that at the end of the first half that Swinton hadn't been doing enough to try and slow this Town side down.
Too much there.
Yeah, and they've done it a bit too much. But you don't. Every now and again, you don't mind conceding a penalty if it is to the betterment of your side. If they're going to break through, slow it down. Yeah, that's absolutely. You'll get a good penalty, which coaches will call it. But yeah, I don't think that was needed on that occasion.
Howlett with the solid first carry of the set. Following him is Farrer, and Towner over the halfway line, directly in the centre of the ground. Doran moves it left to Carter. Carter drops it back over his shoulder, looking for Corkill. He was on the burst there, was Corkill. Ended up being a really good tackle from the Swinton defence. Doran scheming, gets it to Stevenson. It comes right, ends up with Howlett off that ball from Weir.
Shouts of a high tackle to our left hand side. I think he'd come off the shoulder of Howlett. No interest in.
No interest there as Carter pops it over the top. Brilliant ball to Corkill, and it's Eccleston who's away on the left hand side. Just caught, offloads for Corkill. Corkill's on the 10-metre mark. That's where he stopped. There's a whole mass of Swinton defenders that have been able to get over to that side and cover. It's the last tackle. Carter to put boot on ball. Angled kick to the right. Howlett contests it, catches Fulton, then moves it out to Atiga. It's a jogging for Atiga. Wonderful work from Town. Great take from Howlett. I commented earlier on in the game about him taking a ball where he looked like he was a slip fielder in the field at cricket. He's just plucked another one from the sky, and as a result, Fulton has laid it on a plate for Atiga. He just can't stop scoring now.
He can't, can he? No, fantastic work from Howlett to be able to rise highest. I mean, he should be able to rise the highest. He's a tall figure. He's Cooper Howlett, but fantastic work there. And then to get his arm free, find Fulton, and the quick hands from Fulton on his Town competitive debut this afternoon. He's the youngster from Cockermouth, and he's been able to get that ball straight away across to Atiga. And yeah, he could have crawled in quickly by Atiga. There was no one in orange anywhere near him.
I think even I might have stood a chance of scoring that.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Dave.
No, he had that much time then. He created that much time. It was wonderful. I loved
it. But obviously great work on that left-hand side there as well. Initially Dave Eccleston going down the left-hand side, and David Meets, he's not the fastest winger in the world, but he's very strong, he's David. Able to get himself down that left-hand side corner, and then a wild offload, which is a good job. Rio Corkill was knocking in and around there, but just mention what I mentioned at the end of the first half. They're confident at Town, they're happy to throw that, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to come off for them, and so far this afternoon it has.
26-6 with this kick to come from Carter. It's about 5 metres in from the touchline on this right side of the field. Goes through his final preparations, kicks it. Oh, it's just swirling, but no, that's well wide of the post in the end. So the scoreline remains 26 points to 6 here. Town in front against Swinton Lions.
Do you know you normally say when it leaves the boot you can tell it's going over? you could tell straight away that one. And to be fair, he curved back at the last minute, which, no disrespect to Jake Carter, probably made it look better than what it was. But he'll just shake that out his head, will Jake, and he'll make sure that he tries and knocks the extra 2 points over next time.
Now up to 16 goals for the season, by the way, Carter. Unfortunately, we can't include that last effort, but it's 26 points to 6, and Swinton get us underway. A swirling kick, well taken on that far side. You know what? They've picked Bradley out a couple of times on these kicks, and he's just the last player that I'd want running on the ball, to be fair.
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't want to stand in any one of these lot. But yeah, why are you picking Jake Bradley of all of them?
Eccleston plays it quickly. Solid surge out of dummy half from Carter. You can tell when the dander's up, can't you? Because even half-backs are running from dummy half.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think he was looking for Callum Fadder there, but I think Fadder just slightly overrun the play, so he elected to take it himself there, Jake Carter, but then still found 7 or 8 metres, so great work from him.
Fadder took the next run. This time it's Castle. Great yards, and he offloads as well. Galia's there to pick up the pieces. Swirls and swerves his way past the couple, and eventually wrestled down on the 30-metre line in centre field. It looks like it's building for Town again, but they're on the last tackle. Weir onto Howlett. Howlett releases it to Fulton. Fulton out to Atiga. Atiga's on the run, brushes through 2. It's a hat-trick for Atiga. Well, we've waited all season for this, but he has found his scoring groove. What a run, what a play down this right-hand side. That was sumptuous attack.
Back-to-back tries for Workington Town, and they're just happy to throw this ball any which way, and it's just landing where it should for Chauncey Gawley's side. Fantastic play once more, and had options at Denia Tiga. He could have put it back inside, and Fulton would have went over, elected to go himself. It's like London buses, Dave. You wait ages for one, and then 1, 2, 3 come along at once.
And fair play to Fulton as well. I mean, that's now 2 try assists you can give him now.
Absolutely, and you can't go a lot wrong in 2 try assists on your first competitive appearance. And I don't think he probably was expecting to be a part of Chauncey Gawley's plans even this season. I know he was invited down for pre-season, and we had a conversation with Chauncey, and he said, I was inviting him to come down, maybe in maybe 12, 18 months' time, and he really impressed him in that. He obviously gave him a go in a couple of the pre-season games and earned himself a contract. He's gone in there this afternoon following the loss of Will Evans, and he's not looking out the place at all, which yet again is a measure of only what you can say about that.
Because he's stepping up from the Carla League as well, isn't he?
Yes.
And you've mentioned as well what a huge jump that is in standards.
You can have a look at the likes of Don Weir stepping up from MCL Prem with Kells last season. There's a few others out there as well. Cole Walker-Taylor, obviously not out there this afternoon, but he's making that step up from NCL Prem. But he's stepping up from Carla, and I'm sure it's the Premier Division, but if you have a look, it's NCL Prem, Div 1, Div 2, Div 3, and then you're looking at sort of the local levels, and unfortunately I'd say the local scene probably isn't as strong as it has been in previous years, but it's 4 or 5 levels below.
That was another strange attempt from Carter. It veered off the boot and then dipped in. Hey, they all count though if they go over.
They've gone over on that occasion, so you'll be happy with that, Will J. Carter. But yeah, it's 4 or 5 levels, and you hear it a bit more in football, don't you? Players maybe come out of non-league sides and they go into a championship side and normally go into like a reserve setup or something like that. But at this sort of level, of course, there's nothing like that. And for you to step up against players who have been playing week in, week out, year in, year out, the likes of Baker, Rodin and a few others out there in just Swinton colours this afternoon, to put in the performance that he is doing, he'll be very happy with that, will Spencer Fulton.
It's not always straightforward, is it? 32 points to 6. It's looking straightforward on the scoreboard so far for Town in this second half. 13, almost 14 minutes of this second half gone. Again, after those couple of early jitters, I'm sure Chauncey Gawley will be pretty impressed with the way they've stepped up to the plate.
I think the message from Chauncey now will be 0 in this second half, because I think obviously you'll have been expecting a 0 in the first half, and obviously they got that scrappy try which we're still a bit doubtful about. But the message will be now defence, but when they've got players like that breaking through.
Kalia crosses the halfway line again. He's zipping around in and out of tackles, beats another 2 defenders there. Quick play the ball. Doran comes to the right, goes to the left, unloads for Stevenson. You're just going to get a total committed run from Stevenson. Took on 3 big fellas right in the middle of the park there. Last tackle has been reached. He's 40 metres out from the try line. To the left it's moving Carter. He gets rid of it quickly. Running chance for Bradley. Bradley rolled over on his back. Not sure whether I'd be too happy with the way that'd be.
I think it shows you the confidence, or when you're happy to start, when you're 5 and last on the opposition's 40 and you're happy to run, that just shows you the confidence flowing through this Town side this afternoon. At the moment, it hasn't come off for them on that occasion, but on another given afternoon, Jake Bradley was through and Town could have scored what would potentially, what is it, their 6th or 7th, their 7th of the afternoon.
I suppose what it does do, it means there's a controlled restart, doesn't it? So you can already set your defence up, and we're 2 tackles into Swinton's response, and they've only gone 5 metres down the field, so they're struggling a little bit as George Rowe picks up out of dummy half, ducks left, ducks right. There's not a lot doing. He'll have to take that tackle from Howlett. Ball comes to the right, kick comes in from Abram, it's a low one all along the deck, bounces in behind Zarin Galea. Is that going to have too much on it? Galea will watch it, and it bounces and bobbles and goes dead, so it's back to the 20 metre line. Tap restart.
He was looking for the 40-20 there, was Dan Abram. He was just behind the 40 and just didn't get the angle or the loft or anything that he was wanting. Was Dan, obviously, you know, plays a multiple of positions, obviously in at half-back this afternoon, but obviously, penalty for Town.
Yeah, Roby, a little bit too over-eager there. He's lifted the legs. There was no control. He's gone over the horizontal there as the Town man. So we've got a penalty. I don't think there's going to be much else here. I'd be very surprised.
Don't know where the West Super League's gone this weekend, Dave.
Well, yeah, that's another conversation.
Yeah, that's another conversation
isn't
entirely, isn't it? I mentioned that in the first half. I'm not going to mention it because I'll just get upset and angry again. Yeah, I know it was something wrong on Friday night. Do you know why? I agreed with John Wilkin. And I don't do all that right, often.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know there was something wrong.
Now I know there's something wrong.
Yeah,
you agree with John Wilkin?
I agreed with John Wilkin.
It doesn't happen, that.
No, it doesn't. I know it doesn't.
It's rarer than hen's teeth.
Yeah. I sat next to him. I was at the IMG announcement because back in sort of when it was September, October, and I was at the IMG announcement, and I'm sat next to you and thinking, you haven't got a Scooby-Doo, and he was just like, why are you here? Moving on, but yeah, like you say, yeah, it was obviously, you know, we're seeing the sort of decisions coming out from Super League on Friday night. There was an awful lot of talk on Twitter on Friday night, wasn't there? Of course, that was the only game as well, so, you know, maybe there wasn't have been enough talk if there was a few other games on, but yeah, there was. I didn't see the Jack Sinfield one, and a lot of people are saying that was worse.
Well,
I was going to say that was,
from my point of view.
So then you get that and you look and go, well, where is the consistency? You don't mind red cards being given, and obviously there was a lot of talk of it at the start of last year when the rules changed, wasn't there? Or they didn't change, or as much as they say they didn't change, they just were stricter on them. And there's a lot of talk about that, you know, they were seeing a red card, you know, every other game essentially, and there was up until the Derby, the rivals weekend, the Derby weekend, the Easter weekend, that there hadn't been any red cards, and now we're seeing 3 in like 5 games, and it's not something you want to see, and you know, you hear the phrase mitigating factors and such things like that, and I don't think there's a lot of awful mitigating factors there, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see anything. He's calling the Swinton man out here. While I don't think we should see a colour red, it wouldn't surprise me if we see 10 or potentially the arms going crossed up in the air here, Dave.
So we'll wait and see what the result is.
Told you.
Oh, it's 10 minutes in the sin bin for the Swinton man. He raises his arm aloft in apologies to his side.
Then if Mr. Belafonte consistently does that, I don't mind. I don't mind. It's just the consistency where, because then, you know, I've seen a couple of, you know, I was saying that we watched a Super League game yesterday on my way down to Colwyn Bay, and would have been Huddersfield and Castleford, and there was something similar to the Hanley incident, and there was just a penalty that was given. So I think it's just the consistency more than anything else. But yeah, I can't disagree with the decision there from Mr. Belafonte.
I think it's Jordan Brown who's got sin bin actually. He's just trying to catch his number as he was going off, but again it's some fierce defence from Shingler in the middle. Howlett to play it just inside the Swinton half of the field. Callum Farrer, big drive from him, gains a good 6 or 7 metres there. Under a bit of pressure there was the big fella. Durham back to Stevenson, very controlled at the start of this set from Workington, setting the platform. It'll work to the left for Carter. Carter takes it right to the line, the pass goes loose, it's going to be picked up. Referee says that Swinton got hands on it and patted the ball down, so this looks like it's going to be Town's ball.
Yeah, you expect it, and it is going to be there for Town. Swinton have got to work really hard now here to ensure this doesn't get, and it's already sort of a daft scoreline, isn't it? 32 points, 26 points the difference, but they're going to have to work really hard now to ensure this doesn't blow out. Obviously a man down for the next sort of 9 minutes or so, and yeah, they've got a lot of hard work to do, but it's already been a tough afternoon up here in West Cumbria.
Definitely a tough afternoon as it comes to the right hand side. Fulton, he was the guy who was receiving attention after the tip tackle. Infield it's moved. Doran found Castle, and Castle trucks his way forward, gets to the 30, directly in centre field now at Workington. Options left and right of the ruck, it goes to the left. Stevenson, piercing run from him, Tackled by 3 eventually, just on the edge of the 20-metre mark. Stevie Scully preparing to come back on for Town. Here's Castle. Stepped, offloads, late offload for Stevenson. It's opened up for him. Stevenson tries to go over the top of the fullback. Great tackle from Roberts. Try saver all over that one, but is it preventing the inevitable? Here's Galea, bounces off the first challenge, gets to the line. He's just stopped on that try line. Last tackle signalled here.
Got to come right. Got to, even across field, potentially looking for Howell at Fulton.
Oh, it's a good tackle. A really rushed one there on Bradley. Bradley will lose a bit of ground as well, and it will be turnover. So perhaps a disappointing end to that set. But fair credit to Swinton there. They battled, didn't they?
Battled, and Marcus worked hard on that final tackle and showed they could wrap up Jake Bradley and obviously stop him getting that ball out.
Harry Hyam with the carry. Oh, he's going nowhere other than march towards his own post. 3 in the stop for Workington. It's a tough afternoon, this one, for these young players at Swinton Lions. And the tackle comes in there on Shingler. He's going nowhere either. Farrah's clamped him. He's going to have to play that ball on the 10-metre mark. It comes to the left. Oh, that was a good ball. Oh, but it went forward to Morgan. And as a result, they've put the pressure on of Town. Are they going to reap the rewards?
He's not happy with that decision, is Cian Morgan, and we can't make any sort of decision here. We're far too away from it. But he wasn't happy with that decision there, is Cian Morgan. But even if it was slightly forward, it's forward, and obviously with that it means that they're putting themselves under pressure once more. Swinton, and when you're down a man, it just isn't really what you need to do. And so Town knocking on the door once more and be looking to extend their advantage.
And it comes left off the base of the scrum. There's Carter, gets past 1, gets past 2, stepping back towards the middle of the field. He's still going here, Carter. He's 5 metres away from the line, perhaps a couple less now. And he'll play it directly in front of the post to Doran. Doran picks up, comes to the left, drops it back to Farrah. Farrah put that in exactly the same spot Carter was tackled in. Now Doran, to his left to Carter. Carter's got Scully for company. On the inside track was Scully, but he's caught. They're trying to keep this middle eager and keen. And Doran to his left. Carter. Oh, the ball goes to ground. It was put down again by a Swinton hand, so it's more pressure coming up.
Yeah, more pressure, and the Swinton defence survived there, but it is just only surviving at the moment, Dave. And it wasn't a bad one from Callum Farrah, but if I'm in that position, I'm probably wanting Stevie Scully to come and take that ball in. Just a bit more of experience, and no disrespect to Callum Farrah, but he's probably a bit more powerful than Callum there as well. I probably want Stevie Scully on that run, but brought down just short. But Town get another opportunity here to continue knocking on the door.
They certainly are knocking on this door. Scrum 10 metres out from the line. Doran dummies and brings it right. He's running it all alone, taking on Rodden, half beating him. He's about 2 metres out from that try line. Stevenson moves into dummy half. It's going to be a slow play the ball. Referee wipes the tackle count down. Pass across to Farrah. Farrah stretching for the line. Has he got it down? He's held up. Oh, it was such a close call, that one. Farrah doing everything he could to get over the line. But it ended up being some valiant try-line defence.
Oh, I nearly proved me wrong there, Callum Farrah, didn't he?
To the left it's moved. Here's Carter, stepping, spinning, just short of the line. It's great seeing a confident Town side as across it comes to Scully. Big collision on him. Well, certainly you want your defence going in from Rodden.
Gav Rodden, no shock at all, is it?
Superb defence. Here's Doran. Doran to his left to Bradley. Bradley releases it. Oh, it's been put down again by Swinton. Oh, they can't catch a break at the moment, can Swinton Lions.
After what was some fantastic defence, Bradley just able to get his arm free, and he was practically standing. I think he was pretty much standing over the line. Although that football marking might just be fooling my eyes there as well. But he wasn't far off as Jake Bradley got the offload away, and Dan Abram was right on it, just not able to collect. Was the Swinton man, and Town continued to be knocking on the door while we have got a stoppage in player. However, because Bradley seems to have taken a knock in that sort of that challenge there.
Yeah, he's rubbing his lower leg at the moment, is Bradley. So we've got about 63 minutes of the game gone, because I didn't stop it at one point when we had a stoppage. So sorry.
It's all right.
I'll get there.
No,
I'll get there in the end.
We'll use it as a guide. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Fair play. As long as you know roughly where we are, it's all right. Don't worry about it. But yeah, like Town continue to knock on the door here, and but valiant Swinton defence, they're keeping Town honest on this occasion.
Fair
they're
play to them as well.
Especially being down the man as well, as they are at the moment with Jordan Brown being off the field. So, they're keeping Town honest on this occasion. Bradley's showing no ill effects and he'll be okay looking to continue.
Town hold the ball in the scrum. It comes off to the left hand side. Carter out to Corkhill. Good defence from Harry Hyam. Just did enough to hang on before the reinforcements arrived. Town 10 metres out from the line, still leading by 32.6. They've scored 6 tries this afternoon. Can they have a 7th? Well, here comes Stevenson. Over the 10 metre line he goes. Just held though. The defence is holding, but for how long? Farrow with another solid drive. Just manoeuvring the defence around. Now it's out with Weir. Weir back to Galea. Galea out to Atiga. Atiga going in and out. Offloading. It's been intercepted. Brilliant work from Swinton. And they can finally draw a breath.
Had to get that pass there to Atiga, otherwise he was being put back into the touch and over the touchline. That basketball-esque pass once more, but Swinton once again fantastic in defence, and ever since they've gone down to 12 men really, it seems to have switched something in the heads that they know they've got to try and keep this Town side out. And I think Town will be disappointed they haven't been able to get over the line there, Dave, but it wasn't for the want of trying.
No, it definitely wasn't for the want of trying, and I'm with you. I think this is Swinton's best period of the game, for certainly showing ticker and heart and all those commitment that you want from your team as Roby. Oh, they tried the inside ball with Abram. Roby picks up, but there is a knock on. They were trying to work that little one involving the full-back, weren't they?
Yeah, Swinton man's been taken out there, and the legs are up and around in the air. It's Abram, obviously, who knows his pitch very well, as we remarked at the end of the first half. But so he looks like he's potentially took a tackle just after maybe just after the ball had gone in. It's all about them half seconds. Adam Balafonte initially didn't see anything with it, but Judge is coming in here. I mean, you see it so often, don't you? He's going to call he's just calling Adam Sidlow out. He might put it on report rather than anything else.
Yeah,
he's calling Sidlow out.
Sidlow's the Swinton captain, so I think he's asked the question there.
He's okay to continue. Gets the thumbs up. Does Dan Abram?
He's a tough cookie, isn't he?
He's one of them that's. He's not the biggest of people there. He's Dan Abram, but he battles well above his average. Does the Swinton halfback.
So, Workington Town with another opportunity to try and add some points. Can Swinton hold firm? Across it comes to Weir. He drops it back for Atiga. He drags 3 defenders in and still manages to hop out of one. Hop, a skip and a jump. Certainly a triple star reward for Atiga this afternoon with a hat-trick. Scully takes the carry. Gets over the 20 metre line. Phillips has gone back onto the field in the place of Stevenson. Good ball out to Carter.
Looks like we're more likely to see Jamie Jordan move into that loose forward role now in the final minutes.
He offers great utility value, doesn't he, Doran? As Weir takes the tackle. Oh, that's some stern stuff, to be honest. About 14 minutes remaining of this game. Town 12 metres away from the line. Doran back to Farah. Tries to burst his way through. They're trying to burst through the middle, aren't they? I know what they're doing. You tire out the middle and there's gaps elsewhere then, isn't it?
Yeah, because the centres and the wingers then normally jump in to try and cover them gaps. But
last tackle brought to this right hand side with Phillips and Carter and Galea. Get me words out eventually as Fulton is grounded inside that 10, and it's another turnover. Well, I mean, they've completely controlled the ground here, haven't they? In this second half, because I've got to admit, it's been a long while since I've turned my head to the left.
Yeah, I was going to start getting a cricket man if I just start looking right here at Derwin Park. But all fairness to Town, they've been able to keep the pressure on. I think Jonty Golly will be disappointed his side haven't been able to get points there, but the fact of they're keeping Swinton down here, and when Swinton are getting a rare opportunity with possession, that they're forcing errors there at Town. So he'll be happy with that.
So Swinton carry on with this possession. It's a brave run forward by Beardsworth on the right hand side. The second row are just angling towards the middle again. Swinton 25 metres out from their own line. Roby across to Sidlow. They'll try an attack from deep, but again the courts and well held is Aaron Lynch.
Back up to a full complement of 13 now. Jordan Brown just re-entered the field, Dave.
Yep. Lynch picks up out a dummy half. Lofts his pass out to Abram. Abram puts some real height, some real length on it. Eccleston, though, had set himself. Good take from the winger. And he runs it forward and gains some good purchase afterwards.
In the words of Steve, it had snow on that one. It was a spiralling one. It was up in the air. It was a nasty one. It had a bit of a wobble on it. So yeah, he done well there, Dave Eccleston. Made sure he got himself set. Didn't want to be moving left or right, but done well there to take it and fetch Town forward.
That's also a Parky quote 2025, Jordan. That with snow on it.
It's got snow on it. Yeah, there we go.
It's one of my faves as well. That one, to be fair. So Fulton plays this ball just inside his own half. Now it's Eager. Never stops looking for work, never stops making metres. 12 metres chalked off there from the winger who's grabbed a hat-trick, and he'll play this ball 20 metres in from touch. It comes across to Doran. Doran offloads for Farrer to his right. Farrer all held in the middle. Again, it's the last tackle. Pretty tame set this as far as Workington are concerned, but that's an interesting kick. Well taken by Roberts. Roberts goes round two players, eventually hauled down 30 metres from his own line. Quick play the ball as well. This is that man Kean Morgan, who's been amongst the most lively of the Swinton backs this afternoon. He plays it to Roby. And this is Sargent, the lone try scorer as far as the Lions is concerned so far. They trail by 32 points to 6 here. Hope you're enjoying the coverage this afternoon. BBC Sport Online via BBC Radio Cumbria and also the BBC Sports website. Dave Parkinson and Jordan, we are bringing you all the action. Town leading by 32 points to 6. Swinton passing the ball wide. Inevitably ends up in the arms of Morgan again. And he's well tackled by Fulton. It's been a really good battle between those two defensively over the course of this game. Kick comes in on the last from Rodden. Oh, that one is coming down with snow on it. It bounces and goes dead. So it's going to be a tap back on the 20-metre line and another 7 tackle set.
I know he's got a lot in his repertoire, was Gav Rodden, but I don't think a kicking game is certainly one of them.
I don't think that's going to go on his highlight reel come the end of the season.
Absolutely not.
Now, his grubber in the first half, I love it.
Yeah.
That was a really good kick, but that one, that was a bit like a Peter Kay Havoc moment.
That was a high, wide, and not very handsome.
Here's Eccleston, all controlled in that particular stop. Oh, referee just looking on. Seems to be happy with that. As Corkill takes the next carry, the next cab off the rank as far as Town are concerned. Tackled in just behind his own 40-metre line. Town leading by 32 points to 6 as Phillips finds Doran. Doran runs for the middle, half breaks the line. Sidlow's arm outstretched. He was like, go, gadget arms there, the way he reached out and dragged him down. He thought he'd got a bit of open pasture in front of him, did Doran. Scully only knows one way. Good yards as well, and superb yards after contact. Wrestles his way to the 40-metre line inside the Swinton half to Stevie Scully. Plays it to Phillips. He skims it right to Weir. Weir takes the line on. Ball goes loose. Little mistake on this occasion from the halfback. In a way, are Town getting too many opportunities, so they're getting a bit eager and they're squandering a lot of possession, aren't they?
Potentially, Dave. And I think...
Am I being a bit too harsh on them, do you think?
Potentially. But probably not as harsh, because we know what John Segoli said all the way through this season so far in terms of his completion rates and the errors that he's seen from his side, and he's always, we mentioned in the first half, he's a big believer of his KPIs and the things he keeps an eye on. He's John Segoli, and so I think he'll be a little bit disappointed that Town haven't been able to push on even further, despite obviously what was heroic Swinton defence when they were down to 12 men temporarily following the sin binning of Jordan Brown. But yeah, I think he'll be happy. But as he always says, and as he said obviously when I spoke to him early in the week, there's still aspects to work on, and I think that will be an aspect to work on their clinicalness and how they break through the line, and when they do break through the line, how they get it, because it was there in abundance in the first half, and just seemed to have gone slightly missing in the second.
Just a little bit. Don Weir, meanwhile, he's getting the smelling salts, the patching up his nose. He's going to have one of those intriguing repairs done to his nose as it stands.
That's going to be interesting to breathe for the final few minutes.
Definitely,
isn't it?
Yeah. We're about 8 minutes away from full time here. Town, well, they're going home with the victory this afternoon. I mean, it's 32 points to 6. I think it's safe for me to say at this stage that I can't see Swinton scoring 5 tries in the next few minutes.
I've been wrong before.
I have been wrong.
We've been wrong before, but yeah, if Swinton score 5 tries in however minutes are left here, we
then
think
it's
around about 8 minutes, and then it's historical. And I'll eat here with a donkey.
Yeah.
So there you go. I've put it on the line. There you go. I'll go and eat here with a donkey if that happens.
So the ball played out from a Swinton point of view out to this man Kean Morgan. made about 5 metres, ball in hand. Here's Sargent, brave effort from the former Saints man, up to the 40-metre line inside his own half. He'll play it to Roby. Roby, hands on. This is Lynch. Whoa, good tackle. Phillips really got amongst him then, and he was upended. Sidlow goes down the ground. They've controlled Adam Sidlow really well, because I know he's been a player on form in these first 6 weeks of the season. 6 weeks that has brought Swinton 4 wins from the first 6 games, by the way. Last tackle ruled here. Ball spread to this left hand side to Rodden, who tries to put boot on ball again. It's dropped on, thankfully, by Fulton. Referee deems that he's able to play that ball, and Atiga, one-handed carry, big yards made once again, 15 gained. Play the ball comes in to Phillips. Galea follows through, streaming down the ground again near the halfway line. This is where Workington will play this ball on the right hand side of the field. Phillips just passes in to Farah. In fact, it's Ainley.
I was going to say,
sorry. It was
Gary Short's done you a kipper there.
Bradley on his back. Last tackle signalled here. 40 metres away from the line. Carter, controlling kick, looking for the corner. Across there to collect his Roberts. Nice take, 12 metres from his own line. And makes it out towards his own 20 before being barrelled into by Carter. Another strong run, but equally strong tackle. They caught him just right there, the town defence. Doran and Phillips combining there to push him back behind the 20-metre line. Sargent, good tackle once again. They've only gone 10 metres in the last 3 plays of Swinton Lions. Big defensive effort. Lynch, back to Roby. Roby kicking over the top. The penalty will go the way of Swinton Lions.
Yeah, I understand why Jamie Doran's done that. He's moved just an inch there, hasn't he, Jamie Doran?
He went across him.
Yeah, he just went across him, and I understand why he's done that. He's, maybe realised there's not too much at home behind him. But Swinton trying something a bit different in these final minutes, trying to reduce that deficit that currently stands at 26 points, Dave.
Yeah, just about 3 or 4 minutes remaining in this game. Swinton with this tap penalty, 40 metres out. Morgan tapped it. Lynch gets rid of it quickly. Running forward now is the 15, Jordan Brown. Back from the sin bin, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, and Roby is all held. Excellent mark of play from Town. Certainly leading the way there, wasn't he, Jamie Doran? Off to the right, it's moved to Abram. Stabs the kick through. Eccleston's on the chase back, well taken in, and a good chase as well from Abram to trap him in the corner. They've got work to do here, Town.
Yeah, they have, Dave, and they were just, something a bit different once more from Swinton. They're obviously trying to go against the grain now with so few minutes to go, and obviously the deficit being so big for them. They're just trying something different, trying to get some more points on the board, but that's not going to help when is it Redcliffe that's giving the penalty away, and just allowing Town to clear that 10-15 metre mark and kick this ball downfield. Just
looked like a tired effort, to be honest, from Redcliffe. He raised his arm. It's a penalty every day of the week, is that one, and Workington with their 3rd penalty. Strangely enough, it's only 3-4 this penalty count. I've got it. So
yeah, so I mean, it's something we remarked on the first half that Swinton hadn't given away any penalties. So yeah, and we said, are you trying enough to try and slow this town attack down? And they've done a little bit more in the second half. They conceded an extra penalty or 2, but to give you an opportunity to get that standing start and get yourself set, it's sometimes not the worst penalty.
They've done a much better defensive job this second half as well. I have to admit, it's been an impressive effort from them.
It's only 10-6 in the second half, isn't it? So I mean, we've said that obviously more. Obviously the Swinton's defensive effort, but Town's lack of being clinical there at certain stages in the second half as well. But big fair effort to Swinton.
Stevie Scully drives Town forward. They're put down on the 40-metre line inside the Swinton half of the field. Phillips links with Doran. He links with Weir. Weir attacks the line. He's halfway through. Oh, Galea was just running a support run, and he couldn't release the ball, could Don Weir.
Jake Bradley leaves the field in the back play.
Stevenson has come on in his place. Meanwhile, the kick is drilled into the corner. Just controlling the play.
I think he's potentially maybe dislocated a finger or something there as Jake Bradley, when they've just put Stevenson on in his place, obviously not wanting to risk any further injury to the back row. Obviously missing next week through that suspension, but obviously not wanting to risk any further injury to Bradley.
Into this last couple of minutes, and Swinton just 10 metres away from their own line. Off to the left it comes. Tiga being nominated the home man of the match. I suppose you can't look further than a hat-trick, man, can you?
You can't really grumble with that, no. But I think a lot of the town forwards have gone through a lot of work against Stevenson, Bradley and Scully in there as well. They've gone through a lot of work of the sort of starting trio. So there'll be there's plenty of nominations potential out there.
And this pack as well from town, it's kept what has been a really top performing Swinton pack really quiet, hasn't it, today?
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned the likes of Roddy, and I like the looks of Beadsworth, and I've seen him in the 2 games. Obviously a vastly experienced man in Adam Sidlow, and you could say you haven't really said his name an awful lot this afternoon, although he's just nearly done me. He nearly broke the line and done me there with his getting his arm through.
Here's Roby linking quickly there with Jordan Brown. Jordan Brown only put down near the halfway line from a Swinton point of view. Roby still looking round. He's reached the last tackle here of Swinton Lions. Puts it left. Lynch. Run around play. Little kick over the top from Lynch. Will it bounce up for him? Galea gets hands on it. It's bounced up for Morgan. Morgan heading towards the try line, but there's enough town defenders there to bring him down. But they have got another set of 6 here of Swinton. And Roby takes advantage from dummy half. He's deadly from that position. So he zips over for a try. And it puts Swinton Lions 32 points to 10 behind now with the kicks come.
Zarin Galea could have had springs in his boots there, and he still would have struggled to get that. To be fair, he jumped quite high to get there, didn't he? The town fullback, he couldn't just grasp it. But yeah, again, that's something that Swinton's been doing the last sort of 10-12 minutes there. They've been playing off the cuff, and you wonder why sides sometimes don't do that more often. I mean, and obviously, it's frantic and there's not a lot of organisation to it, but sides play frantic. They seem to score points, and obviously you understand why they don't. But obviously, they've been playing this frantic rugby league, and they've been rewarded for that, getting that little chip over the top, and 11-10 all in the second half. So I think Paul Wood will be happier with his side's second half effort. But obviously, that first half fantastic effort from Town has been far too much for Paul Wood's side this afternoon.
Abram slides over the conversion. It's 32 points to 12. Interesting side note, Roby's first try of the season, and as I mentioned before, comes on his 50th Swinton appearance.
Can't be too long left. We've got Jonty Gawley leaving from his area. We've had the man of the match. Must only be in the final few seconds, I'd say, Dev.
Possibly, yes. It'll come back towards the halfway line. Taking their time here at Town. They know it's job done. 32 points to 12.
How do you think Jonty Gawley will be feeling about what he's seen, especially in the second half?
I think he'll be pleased with the first 50 minutes. I think that, Workington were pretty good in that first 50 minutes. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed they didn't take advantage when they had that real glut of possession, and then they didn't make any sort of head and tail of the sin bin in. So I think he'll be a little bit disappointed, but he'll probably take credit to Swinton and their efforts that they put in. Oh, but they've dropped the ball. Here's a Tiga. Oh, there is a knock-on that's been ruled here by...
He's been ruled as a Town knock-on, hasn't he?
Yeah. So it is going to be a scrum.
I just want to correct myself. I said it was 10-12 in the second half. Swinton scored that try just before half-time, didn't they? So I just want to correct myself, make sure that we are correct. Yeah, but so Town's obviously won both halves, but it's been a lot tighter second half.
It's been a lot tighter,
despite obviously Town being on the front foot for the majority of it.
And fair play to Swinton. I think that they've been really dogged this second half, and deserve credit for the way that their defence has performed. It has held Workington at bay for long periods. Admittedly, they haven't done the best with some of the possession that they have had, and been half as clinical as they were in the first half, but they have carried on going, and I'm sure that will impress their own coaches. Abram finds Redcliffe in the middle of the field. That was a tired run that you'll ever see from a prop forward, controlled in the defensive duties there by Ainley. And here comes Sidlow. That looked forward, and that definitely was called forward, that one. So
I said it in the first half. It started in Workington and ended in Whitehaven, and that one did as well.
That was the opposite way around.
Well, fine then. It started in Workington and finished in Keswick. I know, we'll go that way instead. Mary Port, take your pick. It was.
I'm gonna write this down. Then obviously I'm good when I get the map.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything going that way, you go north. So, the likes of Carlisle, obviously, if it's 10 yards forward, it's go that way. And,
okay.
The likes of Wheatons and, Keswick's. And
you've got to be looking out for this over the course of the season in my commentary.
And then that way, obviously, you get towards Whitehaven, Egremont and such things like that.
Carter out to Galea. From the back of the scrum, it's gone out to Eccleston. Eccleston being controlled towards the touchline. He's throwing into touch as well. Some great defence. And Hyam, well, he does have this little bit of niggle within his game, doesn't he? We saw it at the start of the season when I was with you when Whitehaven played against Swinton.
Yeah, because you were meant to be here doing the Cornwall game, but obviously he got called off, didn't he? Yeah, so you joined us later on.
But yeah, he's got this little bit of niggle about him as Harry Hyam. He plays on the edge, it would be fair to say.
To be fair, not nothing more than what his dad used to do. In all fairness, yeah. I mean, who's down there as well? He's Mickey. He's part of the coaching staff. Forwards coaching staff. He's in the yellow t-shirt. There's the hooter.
So we won't get a chance to get the game back underway. It has finished here, 32 points to 12 in favour of Workington Town. A solid performance from Town. Most of the damage done in the first half when they scored 4 of their 6 tries. The highlight has been that hat-trick from Levi Atiga in particular, who has looked really, really deadly out on this right side. But as you mentioned, Jordan, some really, really good performances in the middle of the field. And Town will go forward from this.